this is Deconversion Therapy. I'm not Bonnie.
I'm not Karen.
Oh, that's our new intro. It's tricky.
Wow.
It's
a thinker.
Build the tension. We're a comedy podcast that gets mad also about religion, organized religion. And Bonnie and I have known each other since we were 1 year old. And we did a lot of stupid things together. And then we grew up in the church and became Christians at a young age. Yes, we were born again. Send those letters that we weren't to someone else. And
a couple things about your little bit of information there. You said we did a lot of stupid things, and then you said, like going to church.
No, I meant going to church. I should have.
But our stupid things weren't illegal. It was just,
No, we just gave our home address to strangers. We did fun stuff like that.
We rode a school bus with no seatbelts.
It was the 80s. So we then deconstructed at different times. Bonnie just was like, nope, I'm out. In a very succinct, quick way. I became a missionary, and then as I started deconstructing, it took a long, long time. And then here we are.
I dipped my water into going back in. I dipped my toe back in the water of going to church when I moved back to the South, and everything was aligned against it. Everything. I tried to get into like a Sunday school class or a small group, and they said, well, we just don't have one that works for you right now. I'm like, really? Thanks, God. So.
Yeah, I wonder how many people are just like, because it's the distance that starts the deconversion, which is why COVID might start a lot of deconversion.
I know they are worried about the tithing.
Oh, they're worried. Well, I was thinking the other day about, I'm always posting things. People send it to me. My husband sends it to me about Christian dickheads who do dickish things. Like, Franklin Graham saying the 10 senators who voted against Trump are as bad as Judas or something like that.
Really?
So send me, all that shit. And I'm like, I will repost it because we're being nice to Christians. We're taking out their trash for them. Yeah. So they don't, not all of them can come out and say Dave Ramsey or Franklin Graham are dicks because they still have their church community that they want to keep. So we will do it for you.
Yeah, and it's not so much as towing the party line as for some of them, I'm sure it's just being forgiving.
Being forgiving, not wanting to rock the boat, or at least look forgiving, because, I would do that all the time. I'm like, okay,
right.
I'm going to look forgiving, and soon the forgiveness is going to follow.
And that's just what they talk about on My Favorite Murder, as far as we look to be nice so many times. Like if we find somebody creepy, we go overboard to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh no, they couldn't be a creep if they just want to sit in my passenger side of my car and talk to me, and they're a stranger. Like, really? Okay, maybe they could be.
They've got their hand around my neck. It's just an old habit of theirs.
He's just touching where a necklace used to be. I have something from New York Times I wanted to read you. So I'm going to click for a second.
Damn it. I got to edit it out.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm joking.
It's not from the New York Times.
While you're looking that up, I was telling someone the other day, because they were struggling with all the stuff that's going on and how to react to it, and they're a Christian. And I have to remind myself, niceness and kindness are two different things.
Are they?
Yes. Nice is that artificial, not artificial, but just more the actions that look pleasant, or you say things that are very, sweet. But kindness can come with you really should not take that cocaine. Kindness
okay.
can be not, not always.
Kindness is
like
for the greater
chirpy.
good, maybe.
Yeah, and for, not self-harm, not people harm. So, kindness can absolutely be like Trump needs to be out of office.
Right. And it's not being, I guess, nice to him, but I think it's for the greater good.
Yes.
I just, sorry. I know
Okay.
it's going to have to be an editing moment, but I want to read you what this dick had said. Damn it, now I can't find it.
Take your time.
Okay, you know that there have been a lot of additional people guarding the Capitol.
Yes.
After the events of January 6th. So here's one of the articles from the Wall Street Journal today. Man arrested at Capitol checkpoint with gun says he was lost. Okay. So he shows up Friday night at a Capitol security checkpoint with a gun, 500 rounds of ammunition, and unauthorized credentials for the presidential inauguration. So this guy, Wesley, from Virginia.
First of all, he's way early for the inauguration.
Way early, right. So he's charged with illegal possession of crimes, blah, blah, blah. What bugs me is he was released on his own recognizance Sunday. But here it is. It says, "It's not like I was trying to do something bad," he said. "I was going to do my job, trying to be an extra set of eyes on the people." The rear windshield of the Ford pickup driven by Mr. Beeler had several gun-related decals on it, including one that said, "If they come for your guns, give them your bullets first." According to the police statement filed, blah, blah, blah. So they took a loaded 9mm Glock handgun, 500 rounds of ammunition from the truck. He said he was licensed to carry that much in Virginia, but he didn't realize he had that much ammunition with him. Oh, yeah. But it's just, he gets there and he's like, oh, it's a mistake. I was lost. And that's like when I had this girl who was a friend in college, and her boyfriend hit her after they eventually got married, and that's why they got divorced.
Good.
So in some kind of a situation with a mediator or something like that, they said, okay, so why did you hit her? No, she accidentally ran into my fist. Her face, like with her face.
Yeah. Right.
That's this guy. Oh, I'm lost. And they let him go.
Was he using his gun as like one of those, what is it, a dowsing?
He said that he began a contract job for this protective services company that was working with the event company Live Nation Entertainment to provide security services for media leading up to the inauguration next week.
And they always say, "Do you have a gun and 500 rounds? You're hired."
Yeah,
but that's
so
it. Like,
why is he showing up? On the weekend.
I was lost from Virginia.
I was lost.
That's going to be my new thing when I break into the mall to shop at 1 a.m. where no one's around and I can't get COVID. We definitely need to cover Dave Ramsey another day because he's really big, especially around here. My neighbor's 2 doors up used to work for him. Everyone works for him. He's this financial guru. And this week, he just went off because he's the one who is now doing this whole anti-mask thing. And he threw a big party at Christmas, purposefully unmasked, and asked the vendors and like the servers not to wear masks. And tons of people.
Say that again? He asked the vendors and servers not to wear masks?
Correct. And yep. So he's just, there's this just like, I'm not going to play by the rules on purpose and put it in your face to accomplish some reason that that is not clear to the American people.
It's not clear to me what it's accomplishing.
It's just preaching to your audience. You're not pulling anyone in who goes, I like that. I'm liking what you're doing right there. That's kind.
Right.
And then,
I see your logic.
Right.
Nope. Oh, by the way, the world of tennis is just a big clusterfuck right now. Pardon my French.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. They had, I want to say, 7 chartered jets from around the globe, and all the players in that part of the country, or whatever part was closest, got on a plane. They were supposed to test negative 72 hours before getting on the plane.
Right.
And if they landed in Australia, which, by the way, Victoria had something like either 7 or 11 days with no cases.
Yeah. That's where my husband's from. Oh, I know.
0.
So like our friends there and family posts like daily, look, we had 0. They closed their state borders. We would never even understand how to do that here.
No, they won't let people back in the country to see loved ones. They haven't hugged their family in a year. But what do? They let the tennis players of the globe come in on chartered flights. Well, guess what? They had super strict
Quarantine.
Super strict quarantine rules once they got there. So if somebody tested positive, they had to then be even stricter and stay in their hotel rooms. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
Somebody on one plane tested positive. So the whole plane is considered like in close proximity. And now they have to quarantine and they can't go out and work out and exercise. And some of these players who are going to make at least $100,000, even at the lower levels, they're bitching about it. And so it's turning into just a nightmare. And all the people in Australia are like, our loved ones can't even come back home. And they let you in for tennis.
Yep.
And you're going to complain about this? This is, and you're making a pile of money. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. It's not a delightful mess. I don't like anything that besmirches the sport. But I do believe that I've heard Djokovic be the most bitchy.
But
I'm not sure. But I like to just say that because nobody here is challenging what I say, but people are referencing what he said, but I haven't read it directly. So,
well, that's what we're about, not knowing anything directly and then offering it on a platter to listeners. Well, my husband is from that area, and he was supposed to go see his dad. His dad's like in his 80s, and he can't go. And this has been over a year. They're going to probably have no fly for at least another 6 months because they're so careful. So, it's very stressing to him because if something happens to his parents, he can't get to them.
Yeah, and it's bad everywhere like that in different ways. Oh. Like if somebody's in the hospital and they've got it and you can't go say goodbye to them.
Totally.
I mean, I've heard horrible things like that's the difference between nice and kind. Nice would be, sure, get on the plane, come on over. But kind would be, do not come, stay out. So I can't.
You just gave me a good idea. My husband is one of those who doesn't do a sport for a few years and then goes and does it and plays at like professional level. So if he takes up tennis immediately, he can fly to Australia. Immediately.
Okay.
We're going to have to get in touch with Venus Williams, who can pull strings via her house for sale that we saw online. I'm going to have to write Zillow. Say, can we please talk to Venus?
And to comment on my age, when you said Venus, my second thing I heard after that was fly trap. referencing the DJ from WKRP in Cincinnati. Anyway, we have letters to read to you guys this week.
Finally. So I'm excited about this. We have like a little bit of a backup with letters, but we're going to do some over the next few weeks. If you have something that's funny and about growing up in church, synagogue, you know, the Moonies, whatever, go ahead and write it to us.
Or church in your workplace.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Coworkers who are witnessing, there's just nothing worse.
Oh, so
I mean, maybe there is.
The other day, I don't know if I told you, my one of my daughters gets a text, and it's like, "Hey, I'm just texting random numbers and want you to know God loves you. Doodly doo doo. Do you want to know anything more about the Church of Latter-day Saints?" And then we have in Nashville area, we have like an online Facebook group of people who are secular women. And one put up hers. You're distracting me with your hand.
I'm sorry.
Movements. Stop doing shadow
I'm
puppets.
feeling my joints, wondering if I have rheumatoid arthritis.
We don't use a podcast as a platform for rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay.
But she, someone on Facebook's like, look at this message I just got. A little different, but still Church of Latter-day Saints. And I'm like, you know that they're all just like, you know what? COVID has us locked down. This is going to be a great idea. Let's throw our cult into text to people who do not want to be texted.
Right.
I want to call and say, what was your success ratio?
Unprovoked, non-consensual communication with random people.
Spam. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'll start with...
That's redundant. Religious spam. Sorry.
Boom. Okay, I'm going to start this letter. As a side note, if we've read these before, please let me know. I do not have a good organized method.
You're talking to me, not the audience.
I'm talking. Maybe we'll just do it, and someone can be like, well, they read my letter twice, and they seemed surprised both times. Which also correlates into, I'm going to start a podcast called How'd I Hurt That? Because as I'm getting old, how'd I hurt that? As I'm getting older, I've had like a pain that I'm like, what? That's what you get if you're like a laborer. But I have done nothing. So that and my memory loss. Okay, here we go. I grew up in a super fundamentalist evangelical church in Seattle, an island of conservatism in an ocean of blue. I have plenty of awful stories I could tell, but this one is just fun. One of the elders in our church, who was particularly straight-laced and considered a pillar of the church, was married to a woman with enough personality for both of them. I'll call her Edna. That's not nice.
Not a young name, but okay.
It's not nice already. Edna had a quirky sense of humor, a big heart, and an impeccable sense of comedic timing. Our church was affiliated with a ragtag, unaccredited Bible college, so we were often blessed with sermons from students of the, quote, college. One Sunday, we had a student preacher who hadn't learned to keep an eye on the clock during his sermon, and he went on. Okay, remember, this is someone in training who likes to hear their voice.
Right.
I'm adding this as Karen. He went on for close to 2 hours.
What?
And that's the end of this story. No, I'm joking. In our church, we were used to 45-minute sermons at most. You know, I always felt our sermons, Bonnie, in our Baptist church, Southern Baptist, lasted forever, but they really only lasted like 15 to 20 minutes. Like the whole...
I know. You know why? Because the rest of the service was filled with horse shit stuff, like standing up, sitting down, standing up, and singing hymns.
Yep. Exactly.
I just don't like church music if it isn't established firmly with everyone listening. What a waste of time. I mean, the sermons were the good part.
Yeah. I loved when we moved into the era of where the program actually had like a handout that you'd fill out with his 3 points, which I think is why I became an English major, because I realized how I can write an essay. You know, you got your 3 points and your supporting evidence. So I loved filling it out. Okay.
The church service to me seems, though, like a chicken wing. Like, there's so much extra stuff, and all you really want is that nice little tender piece that's kind of like a drumstick.
I know where it is.
And you've got that whole piece that you can't do anything with, the flappy piece, I don't know, that points at the end.
Yeah.
And then there are all these veins in the other one, and you can get tiny little pieces of meat from there. But there's just so much waste. And you just want to throw those bones on a plate.
I should.
And
I
the
wish
blue cheese
people
dressing is your Aunt Edna with her hair. So go ahead. Come on, Edna. What did Edna say?
I wish people could see your face, how like intense you are about this chicken wing situation. Okay, so 45 minutes at most for their sermons. And back to this writer. At one point during this rambling sermon, Edna turned to a friend nearby and said in a stage whisper, loud enough to be heard from several pews away, I put a roast in the oven this morning, and if this sermon lasts much longer, there's going to be a burnt offering to the Lord. Insert laugh track.
She had been working on that one.
I know. I'm not sure if this had anything to do with the sermon wrapping up or not, but it finally did. Hold on. I had to switch things. There's sermon.
End. It finally did end?
I'm not sure if this had anything to do with the sermon wrapping up or not, but it finally did. And Edna hightailed it home to check on the burnt offering. Love the podcast, and thanks for making us all laugh. Thank you, Edna, for putting a stop to bullshit. There's nothing worse than when the pastor gets up and says that, either a new person to the ministry or a lower level person is going to be speaking that Sunday. Because it's so earnest, it's long, and they're trying too hard.
Well, how did they just keep going and going? It's the opposite of what you're always told, is that, public speaking is one of the most frightful things in life. Not to that guy.
No. Maybe he was getting all riled up and like banging on the podium, and there was a lot of repent.
Talking about chicken wings and analogies.
Yeah.
Oh, so much extra garbage.
Do you have a letter?
Yeah, I have a letter for you.
I have a letter for you. That's a threat.
Okay, let's see what this person says as far as reading names. It says okay. All right, so her name's Abby.
By the way, my letter said don't read her name, although her name was Edna. Okay.
Names like that crack me up because it's just like a man's name with something that ends in a vowel.
I never really thought of that.
Oh, names that drive me crazy are the British ones. They're like, Philippa. Oh, yeah? You're just going to take Philip and slap an A on the end? Like, it's a girl. Anyway. Okay. Abby says, my story. All right. At this point, I think Karen has added me at least twice. So I'll send in a story and hope that she isn't like, wait, who's this chick thinking I care about her story?
Okay. I know who Abby is. Abby has, we've followed each other on my personal Twitter, and we need to say congratulations because she just had a baby.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know what that means? She had sex.
I know.
I wonder
named it
if
COVID.
she's married.
Yeah.
What?
She named it COVID just to remember the time.
Stop. That's awful.
COVID insurrection, Smith.
We don't think these things are funny. We're just trying to poke
We think.
and make ourselves laugh because life is just a little bit too much to handle right now. Okay, let's see. When I was little, my family got very involved in the evangelical boom of Bill Gothard's cult, family integrated churches, and Christian homeschooling.
Oh.
I had spent my earliest years in a church very similar to the one Bonnie and Karen described growing up in. Once we shifted to a more fundamentalist worldview, though, it was clear that they were heathens and we couldn't continue attending a place where women wore sleeveless dresses and men would wear shorts to evening services.
Mm-hmm. That was hold on. That was a big issue in our church. I remember specifically because we had an outdoor church too. And we would go out there and it felt more casual. So there was this big issue in the church if people could wear shorts. And our pastor, who's that big pastor in Texas now, he was the one that wanted to say no. The youth minister was like, it's okay. Like, it became a thing, and they finally did a sermon on it. It was crazy. Crazy time.
And by the way, shorts in our high school age were not the vagina shorts of the day now. They generally landed right above your knee.
They were Bermuda shorts, yeah.
They were Bermuda shorts.
Get that pleats. With an Izod, and you're... Yeah.
And a cute little belt buckle with turtles on it where they were kissing. Yeah.
Get those loafers. Take the pennies out of the offering plate. Put them in there.
Put them in your loafers. Okay, so it says a major component of the shift was that my much older brother was interested in attending Patrick Henry College, founded by the one and only Michael Ferris, also founder of HSLDA. I don't know what that is, do you? High school leadership.
I think that is, hold on.
High school leadership district attorney. No.
I think Michael Ferris, did you say? I think that might be the person who does like the homeschool network or something. I'll look him up because I know he was at the Super Spreader.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So Michael, quote, Mike P. Ferris is an American constitutional lawyer, and he's the founder of, ready for the initials, Homeschool Legal Defense or Association, and Patrick Henry College, which we need to cover, both in wherever, Virginia. He's the CEO and general counsel for Alliance Defending Freedom.
Yeah, that's what she said next.
Gotcha.
Yeah, her information is nice and accurate.
I appreciate it.
She probably Wikipedia'd him just like you did.
No, I think someone pointed out when we were looking at the picture of who was at the Super Spreader event. At that outdoor thing for Cohen Barney. I'm joking. I like to mispronounce her name. Amy Coney Barrett. He was there. Anyway.
Well, she says around this time, 1999 to 2000, the school was just being built and started, and they were on the prowl for donors. My parents were connected enough into that world that they became donors that the school wanted to woo. Yeah. So Michael Ferris came to Atlanta and took my parents out to a very nice restaurant for lunch. I was brought along naturally, as that's the sort of thing anyone does with the 5-year-old child. The particular hotel we were having our meal at, the Westin downtown, has a glass elevator where you can watch yourself rising up above downtown Atlanta to the top floor. When we got in the elevator, Mike said, Abby, I think this is going to be too scary for me. Would you sing us a song to make me feel less afraid? I was used to this, as my dad often made me sing songs or recite Bible verses in front of total strangers, though it didn't make me hate it any less. But being a compliant child, I know that. There I stood, watching the busy streets of Atlanta fall away from my feet, and I sang Amazing Grace to Michael Ferris, whose college both my brother and I would eventually attend. I'm especially salty about this experience because when I attended PHC 13 years later, Mike had no idea I was the emotional support child he had talked into singing for him in Atlanta all those years prior.
The singer?
I'm the singer. I was like, were you even actually scared, or were my efforts for nothing? Said sarcastically, of course, in case that isn't clear. So there's my encounter with Michael Ferris. Hopefully that was interesting. Tune in next time for stories like my dad wanting to celebrate the day I was conceived instead of my birthday. Ew! Or the first time I ever said fuck. Hint, it was in a tiny bathroom in Northwest Arkansas while on a campaign for Tom Cotton.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
Shit.
Thank you, Abby. That was, that's such, yeah. When people say that to kids, like, why don't you do this for me? Whereas I'm really trying to distract you from having your emotions.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And it's
Don't you keep me down, Michael Ferris.
And they used to do this all the time. It was done to us. We get it. But like that your child is a performer of some sort, even small, and I used to do that and had to really pull away from, say hi to this nice man, do this, do that. Like your kids aren't mini performers. Someone told me, when my kid was little, or I can't remember, but I see it now on Instagram, especially where people are dressing up their kids or they're putting all the cute things they did up on the internet. I love them. I will watch them. But I do think of that kid, when they're 18 and older, just, having a hard time. Anyway.
I think of the kid, at that age, because as an only child and an only grandchild, I had a lot of communication with my family. And so they would ask me my opinion, whether they always did what I wanted or not. That's a different story, but I would be consulted. So
that's good.
To me, being asked to do something like that, even in hindsight, I get aggravated with it. Like, why would you have me do this? There's no benefit to this.
Yeah.
Is this going to get us money? Are we going to get to be first in line?
That's a different story. Like, hey, make sure that you act 11 so you can get this food. That's different. The discount children's stuff. But yeah, like dressing them up, using them as props to get likes and attention is, I think, it's almost a psychological thing of abuse where it's like, I need my kid doesn't know what a like is. I'm the one that needs those likes. Anyway.
That's what dogs are for, by the way.
That's right.
That's why you put dogs in Halloween contests. I do like seeing a dog in an outfit.
I got to go check on my girls. They're outside tap dancing for money. Okay, here's another letter.
Wait, can we request that anybody send us a dog in a bow tie picture? Because nothing makes me happier than seeing a dog in a bow tie.
I like
a
dogs.
hanging tie is fine.
What about a bonnet?
No, just a tie.
Okay, for Bonnie, send the tie. All right, here we go. Focus so you get laughs on the back of mine. Okay. Hi, ladies. I just love your podcast. Oh, The funny stuff. And the letter episodes are hilarious. And yes, it was fun to hear my stories read. Ooh, I admit I giggled as I listened all by my lonesome in quarantine. To hear other accounts of crazy church antics makes me feel less icky about the stuff I did and went along with so many years. Totally. That's why we do it. It's all selfish for us.
And P.S. Read Pete Holmes' book.
Yes.
It's going to make you feel way less alone and not as freaky as some people.
In the late 90s, I went to a small four-square church. All right, that's a problem already. That particular denomination was pretty, quote, progressive. They allowed women to be in leadership. They cast out demons and spoke in tongues. It was not a happening place to spend your 20s. Whoops. Let me say, it was a happening place to spend your 20s, not in this small church. I just always picture the guy from Friends saying not. Okay.
Ross.
In this small church.
Ross.
In this small church, there was an older lady. She looked like a witch from a fairy tale, complete with a wart on her nose and a large pile of black hair on top of her head, kind of a messy beehive. She was the church prophetess, a.k.a. a witch. Okay, so we've got to back up. Do you remember near our Baptist church, the witch?
The Dixie Witch.
Yes.
Yes.
So all we do is she didn't go to our church, but she was scary looking and sort of, I don't know if she walked around with some cart or something.
She would walk laterally, or she would walk like the north-south route adjacent to the cemetery.
Yeah.
And she had just what you read, the description of like the big pile of hair that was probably not able to be gotten a comb through.
Right.
And she would just shuffle. And so that's what we called her, which, again, wasn't nice or kind.
No.
But that's because we were shitty children.
And I think when she died, she had a lot of money or something.
I remember somebody finally profiled her in the paper.
Okay. There was something.
I couldn't tell you what the content of that article was.
And they just called her the witch woman. And she loved that article. Okay.
She loved that.
Okay, back to the letter.
Okay, Ross.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Seriously, she did all the stuff a psychic medium would do, but it was in church, so they called her a prophetess. Okay, amen. Want to stop there because they were really parallel things, mediums and prophets. It was crazy. Anyway.
Is that the plural of medium? Media?
Okay. Yeah. She would go up to people.
Grammar jokes, I'm sorry.
She would go up to people after service and have a word from the Lord for them. She would go up to the people after service and have a word from the Lord for them. Then she would say something like, "You're struggling with the sin of vanity."
That's a horrible thing to tell somebody they're struggling with.
Okay, let me...
Keep it to yourself, prophetess.
You're struggling with ugly. Okay. You're struggling with the sin of vanity and lust. Here's a scripture for you. She then would slip a piece of paper with a scripture written on it into your hand. Her messages were always creepy because they were very accurate. I will never forget the day she walked up to me and said,
"Oh, no.
You were supposed to be a witch." What the fuck was I supposed to say to that? I had never done anything remotely witchy at the time. Years later, after leaving the church, I can honestly say I feel much more comfortable with pagan practices. Anything per Christian delights me. The full moon, yoga, tarot, meditation, bring it on. I think I was always a spiritual person, but the only option in the 80s in my small town was a Christian church. Very true. So thank you.
Because they had the lock on communication. We didn't have the internet.
Right. We didn't know that there was anything else. So thank you to Christian prophetess who saw my full potential as a future servant of Lilith, the dark mother goddess. Just kidding. Thankful for you too, Evelyn. She said we could read her name, Evelyn the Witch. So that's...
Whose name is also an acronym for 11.
Oh. Is it acronym the right word?
No.
Exactly.
I knew it when I said it, that it was wrong.
I want to do that where I write
jumble.
like little things and go up to people and slip them a piece of paper. Like
That's
I saw you from across the room and I could read your aura and then just slip them a piece of paper that just is, I don't know what it would say.
Oh, somebody in a showing the other day said to me, do you have kids? And I said, no. And she goes, I could tell. And I'm like, you could tell? I said,
What?
how could you tell? It's just your aura. I'm like, what is my aura? Like a big scribble above my head, like in Charlie Brown cartoons. But I just wonder, well, what the heck does that mean? What did I say that's not nurturing to you? Is that what it was?
No, it was that you were relaxed and weren't acting like you had to get back to something and permanently distracted.
Yeah, she also thought I was older than I am.
Oh,
wait,
well.
no, younger than I am.
Oh,
and
good.
So I got to use my favorite joke. That's because I don't have kids.
But
because kids age you from worry because they're shitheads. Except your kids. Your kids are nice.
Nice back out. I like how you said they age you as you're looking at a video of me. So I appreciate it.
No, I just think, my God, it's got to be so much worry about some little thing's survival.
All the time.
It's got to be hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though they're adults.
Totally. And, with daughters especially, and just like, okay, sorry, I know you're an adult, but we got to leave on this app that tells me where you are going to be. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're, doing meth in a field. I just need to know where to tell police you've been for 8 days. So it does. It totally sucks.
Oh, yeah. And there's awesomeness with it too, of course.
Oh, I haven't gotten to that part. No, I am fortunate. My kids are good. And I said this to someone who's a Christian, has kids, all that. But they were saying how good my kids are. And I'm like, they're not hanging out with Christian kids because they're such hellions. He's like, I know. Like, it's amazing. You can look down the line at the Christian kids that are my daughter's ages, and they're either married, which is crazy. They're either married or, COVID they don't care about, or they're just, they've rationalized everything that they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I loved is when your daughters were little and we went into stores with them, you would say, okay, girls, this is a hands-on hip store. So they wouldn't touch anything. The game was they would glue their fists to their little hips and not move them. So they'd walk around with their arms pointing out everywhere and like, oh no, my hands don't move in this store.
And my elbows just knocked over a $5,000 vase. Yeah.
But they were so great because you actually had rules and made them adhere to them. They weren't running wild and you weren't zoned out and not thinking about what you needed and just assumed that everybody else would think they were cute if they were playing underneath the table at a restaurant and making noise and clanging things.
Well, besides me being a perfect parent with perfect children, I wanted to say that to all people out there, and this is for Abby because she's a new mother, pictures of your kids with food smeared on their face is never cute to anyone but you. It's disgusting. And I see it all the time. And now people our age are grandmothers, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Clean face pictures. That's what we want. We want to just, I don't care if they're stepping in your high heels or your over big boots. That's all good. That's cute. Not the smeared food. I can't.
It's funny
handle
because
it.
I carry that onto wedding pictures with the cake smashed in the face. I don't like that either personally.
Right.
Because it's just a waste of good cake.
I just want to say I have discovered a show no one else has. It's called The Great British Bake Off. I know it's an underground thing that you haven't heard of. And
Is Noel Fielding hosting that?
Yes. How do you know who Noel Fielding is?
The saddest thing in the world is that you know him from this show. He's so funny.
He's so funny. Mm-hmm. And now there's a new guy host with him that is killing me.
Who is he?
He is, well, see, you're such an Anglophile with your white privilege. Let me see. Host of British. So I'm watching all of this. His name is Matt Lucas.
Matt Lucas?
Yes.
He's half of Little Britain.
That's
oh my God.
That's where I know him from.
I gotta watch that.
He is
gosh.
funny. So the good part about this is that we love Top Chef. I love all those things, but this is so kind. Like everyone is kind on it. That it's amazing, but I don't forgive them for some things. One, they put ginger and cinnamon in everything, and that's disgusting. And the other is their pronunciation of yogurt. I can't get past the
What is
yogurt.
it, like yogurt or something?
It's yogurt, which is unforgivable. But it's so cute, and it's like calming, and all the colors are calming. And even when they get to like their deadline where they're running around putting their icing on and freaking out, that level of panic is Americans' baseline on our cooking shows. So I've just been, watching them the whole time. But yeah, you'll probably like this last one. I don't know who the comedians really were from the other seasons, but yeah, I looked up Noel Fielding because I'm like, okay, who's this guy? He's really funny.
I haven't seen him lately, but I thought he was so handsome.
Yeah,
like maybe about 10 years ago.
He's cute, and he's just, he talks with the contestants and has a lot of fun. So I'm sure that I think our people who listen to us over the pond probably could start baking now, end up on the show, and then somehow do a deconversion cake.
There was a show that they would do at year end every year called the Big Fat Quiz of the Year. And they would go through the whole year in the news and pop culture and do quizzes like that. So at one point, Noel was paired up on a team with Russell Brand.
Oh,
and the two of them together
fantastic.
were just like this really bad boy looking, super cute group and they were so funny and quick.
Right,
and
right.
their answers were clever. Oh, yeah.
So if anyone wants to really take it down a notch during COVID and watch that, that's great. Now, interspersed, I also watched the Richard Ramirez documentary, The Night Stalker. So, I've still
so creepy.
Got my delightful edge of, let's see, some horrible killing and then just bake it out. Bake it out. Did
you ever watch the show that was on Showtime called The Affair? I think it was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, I started it. I think I watched the first season or two.
Yeah. So the first season on Amazon was free, and then the second season they want you to buy. And I keep going back and forth with like, well, should I just get a subscription to Showtime for a month, or should I buy them? So I keep buying them one at a time for $2. So I'm like, okay, here's $2. It's like having a really low grade drug habit.
Yeah.
Okay, here's $2.
Our computers need to come with like the credit card slide or the dollar taker so we really can feel what the hell we're doing. Because I'm nickel and diming our family into the hole by like, do I really need this app that's going to put shading on our, Instagram pictures? Sure.
Every app now has in-app purchases. It's crazy.
I know.
You can't buy around them anymore.
I know. They're very sneaky. And I love the ones that charge you that are just like, this is a breathing app that teaches you and notifies you when to breathe, but you've got to purchase other breaths. You just have to just hold it until you get another $2.
So while we're on the topic of apps, just in case you want to put this in, my favorite app that I've been obsessed with lately is Jumble, and it's based on the little cartoon puzzle in the paper.
Yeah.
So the Jumble app, you play it and then you get a certain amount of coins. And I was so excited. I'm like, ooh, what do I get for these coins? Nothing. But you can buy extra coins. What you get for the coins is a hint if you can't guess the puzzle. And I'm like, that's it? All I need is time before I guess this. I don't need to buy your hints. So now to me, I'm just playing to see how many coins I can get. And I'm just checking it for you today. My coin count is up to 4,376. And I have nothing to spend them on.
But you feel rich, and that's all that matters.
I feel rich, and it's the first thing I do on my phone each day, because the more days in a row you play, the more coins you get.
And here's your metaphor for Christianity. You just keep saving up. All those good deeds and prayers are going to go into a bank that you think will be cashed, but it won't.
And they still tell me that I can buy coins. Like 4,000 coins.
And they're on sale today. I felt so good, like growing crops. I would do this thing where you grow crops and then you'd go over to the newsstand and you'd flip through the paper.
You mean on an app?
To buy the other vegetables. It's like
it's an app of life?
It's a little farm growing app.
Okay, right.
I would feel like, oh, look, I got to wake up. Look at my harvest. And I would just like harvest my vegetables and I get obsessed. Oh, shit. I need a life.
I will. Okay, but I just love that we're the idiots in life, where I remember one time I went on vacation and everybody I was with was like, why don't you come outside? It's really pretty. And I'm like, I'm just going to be in here watching this true crime marathon. It's my vacation. I'm going to do what I want.
Do what I want.
And so, like, fine, it's gorgeous outside. And then, so I go on vacation with my friend Amy. We're in a pretty exciting place. I don't know where, because we've gone several places, but she'll be there and just play in Candy Crush.
Yeah.
Like, you can't play Candy Crush in fucking Florida.
Right.
But it's I'm on vacation. I can finally play Candy Crush or watch a true crime marathon.
Yeah. That's what we were like driving through New Mexico, and it's gorgeous, and like all the outside your window stuff is so surreal because we didn't grow up with that. And in the back seat, everyone would be on even the adults, on their phones, on their Kindle. I'm like, that's going to be there. But, luckily, I'm not a judgmental person.
No, this goes back years and years. Same thing. I was on a trip with my grandparents, and I got yelled at. Look at the scenery. I'm like, I just want to read my Archie comic. Can you just let me sit in the back seat and do what I want?
You have no idea how much this kind of internal imagination practice is going to come in handy in 2020.
Stop bossing me.
So send in your funny stories. We're going to read more soon. And thank you for listening. Hey, please review us. I know that we bug you about that, but you haven't done it, and it's very unkind. So please review us, and then find us on Instagram, Twitter. I Twitter a little bit, and dare I say, oh no, I'm going to have to tell you all about this. I'm on Clubhouse, and
What
I
is
might
that?
be doing something. Yeah, exactly. It's just the app that's invitation only. It's an audio app that Oprah and other stars are on. So what it really is, it's this weird audio app, but now I'm sort of liking it. I see problems with it, but say someone is an expert in like raw food, which I'm into. They can say, hey, I'm going to be talking about raw food at 3:00. So you go into that room and it's an audio and they talk and then they answer questions. But
that's
it can
cool.
also be like hey, let's hang out. If everyone likes Noel Fielding, anyone want to hang out? And, talk about that. But what I like about it is not only is it diverse, it's like diversity forward. It is right now mostly Black community folk, and I mean from Nigeria, Gambia, America. So it's really cool. And I'm going to talk about writing, but I think I don't want to sell it too much because I don't know if it's going to happen, but probably going to do like a little thing with another person who's deconverted, and we're just going to like offer a question and answer. That's it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. Can you just go in and talk about things that interest you, like a meetup, but just audio?
Totally. That's what it's about. And
Okay.
I would say it's like networking during the day. There's a lot of people like how to get your sales funnels up, or
Is that a thing?
estate in the doodly-doo.
Is that a thing? A sales funnel?
Yes.
Is
you
it?
know not of the sales funnel?
Well, no.
God, I can't teach you everything.
I hadn't heard of Gambia.
Yeah, it's like networking during the day. A lot of people do like your moment of bliss or let's meditate or whatever it is. And in the evening and night, it's mostly audio porn. It's like, the hotties hour or how to get a sugar daddy. So
Oh,
it's definitely open to all sorts of things. But right now I'm finding it interesting. I think it's going to be opening up to anyone. It was invite only just because they didn't have enough servers, and I guess they had to build their equity and all that. But
interesting.
yeah. So
All right.
I'm under Karen Alea, Alea, and then I think we're going to do something on ex-evangelicalism and deconstructing, just like a little safe hour to talk about it. And for people who have questions or doubting, they can, ask them.
That's cool because it's live talk.
Right.
As opposed to just listening to two ladies. But we really appreciate you listening to it.
Yeah.
And responding, especially on Instagram. I made a meme the other day. I was real excited about it.
Yes. That was Bonnie's meme. The guy that got captured, the Florida man who is not smiling, and it says,
In his mugshot.
You should smile more. Yeah.
Oh, and I was listening to Comey the other night being interviewed by Stephen Colbert, I think it was. And he was saying, despite any deficiencies in what happened on January 6th. What the FBI is really good at is finding people, and we will hunt you down and find you if they had broken in to the Capitol. I'm like, yes!
I know. That is so, I have such bloodthirst over that. It's pitiful.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. We've both been on the FBI website looking at people praying that they're our neighbors.
Yeah. And I tried to post something. This should be coming out on Inauguration Day. So hopefully listeners will still be there and that we are not all stuck to CNN watching some other catastrophe. But
No,
anyway,
we won't be.
On that
Okay.
note,
The catastrophe for me will be Orange Man coming back.
oh yeah, he's such a dick. Well, he's going to be moving in close to you, so enjoy that.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
And I'm really, really hoping that, what's her name? Melania. It would be so cool if she filed for divorce the next day.
Yeah. I really hope so. I think
It won't
so.
happen.
I know. All right.
know.
Have a great week. And
Bye,
yay,
guys.
Democracy. Bye-bye.
Democracy. The government.